I have seen zero things God have done for Africa. What have this God done for women? What is the reason of following a deity if there is nothing that you are going to gain?
You just got to keep going and don't give up.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Princess, and in this video, I'm discussing that organized religion are keeping the community poor, the community sick, and they're keeping them in poverty. Let's get into it. If you're African that is constantly praying and worshiping your God, what have this God that you spend majority of your time praying to in churches, praying to in the mosque, what have they done for Africa? I have seen zero things God have done for Africa. The people in Africa is still living in poverty. They are still depressed. They are still sick. And Africa is still being dominated by those that brought you those religion, and also being dominated by those that have colonized you before. 62% of Africa are Christians. 35% are Muslims. You have all these organized religion in this continent, but yet this continent is poor. 35% of Africa lives in poverty. The continent is still living in poverty, even though there is major resources there for you to utilize to get yourself out of poverty. Why is this God not intervening? Why is this God not helping out? You guys pray and you fast for months, for days, but yet nothing changes. Liberian, you spend your time praying. There are so many churches. There are so many mosques back home. You spend your time fasting and praying. But you are on the list of the poorest country that is in Africa. Not just Africa, the poorest country in the world. 85.6% of your population are Christians. 12.5% of your population are Muslim. Your entire nation is an organized religion nation, and yet none of those deities have interfered with your poverty. But you are praying, you are fasting, you are doing everything that this God have asked you to do, but yet this God have not yet intervened with your poverty level. You are poor. You go to church and you listen to pastor manipulate you to tell you to give your last money to the church when you need the money. You need it to get out of poverty. You are on the poorest country list. So many people are living with diseases, and they were sitting there, they were praying and asking God to heal this land, to heal this country, and yet nothing is being done. Women, what have this God done for women? You are listening to people tell you that you are second-class citizens of this world that belongs to you. This deity allow men to rape you, to rape your children, to abuse you. Organized religion has the highest level of abuse amongst women. When you look back throughout the history that we know of, all you see is wickedness that have done to women. Why isn't this God coming in and interfering with abuse that is happening within the churches? You're being molested by pastors. Choir directors are looking at your children. You are in depression, and all you do is come around, have conferences to share pain. You guys are addicted to pain. You all want to share pain so bad. You're listening to feel good sermons, and that's it. Nothing changes. You go back home to being in poverty. You go back home to being depressed. You go back home to your low self-esteem. What have this God done for the community of women? You get together and worship and fellowship. You sing the feel-good song to make you feel good for the moment, and then you have to go back to your illness. You have to go back to your disease. You have to go back to your poverty. There are so many kids that has been molested in churches. There are so many kids that has been molested by Muslims worship leaders. What is the reason of following a deity if there is nothing that you are going to gain as a community? What is the reason of following this deity? It seems like a one-way relationship that you just praying and fasting and doing everything that this man-made religion is telling you, but nothing is giving back to the community. Nothing is giving back to the community. What is the point if you are not going to get any kind of results from this deity as a community? If you are going to speak about free will, if you know there is free will and God cannot intervene, why are you following this person? What is the purpose of you praying to this deity if he is saying he's not going to intervene because there is free will? What is the purpose of it? Because you are not benefiting as a community. Your community is still poor. Your community is still full of sicknesses and diseases. Your community is still full of depressed people. What is the purpose of it? Because you are not benefiting as a community. You are not benefiting as a whole.